All right, this is the state of our file, visual analysis, as of last week, last class, right? So the last thing that we did is apparently we sliced sales by, you know what, let's start over again. How about that? Let's quickly reproduce what we did, okay? So I'm going to clear out the worksheet. There's a button on the top that says remove everything, clear everything out, right? Let's start from the scratch. So what I'm going to do is try to slice the sales by the category, okay? So on the top there is a button somewhere right around the middle. Yeah, that says basically click on that and remove everything. Clear, it says clear worksheet, okay? All right, so I'm going to put sales again to columns, all right? And then I'm going to go ahead and take category and put it in the rows so that it splits all the sales by the category. And let's go ahead and add the label, right? Numerical label that tells us how much money we generated in terms of sales. You remember how to do that, right? You just need to click the label, the button right there with the letter T on it, okay? That puts text, label, marker, bam. And I can go ahead and make it a little bigger, a little wider columns, just like that, okay? And I believe what we did is we colored the bars. This is a bar chart, right? It's actually bivariate chart right now. It slices sales by the category, right? But I'm going to make it trivariate, okay? I'm going to add profit to the color. So the length of the bar will tell me how much the sales were, and the color of the bar will tell me what kind of profit I generated, right? So I'll take profit, drop it into the card that says color, bam, and after that I'm going to sort that from highest to lowest, okay? So I can see that technology was my highest sale, highest profit, right? It's the tallest and the darkest column, okay? And furniture had good sales, but it was lowest in terms of profit, right? And office supplies, lowest sales, but profit was very decent. Okay, that's what we did in the previous class, right? That was the end of it. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen. Remember our discussion about line chart when we plotted sales versus time. When we did that, sales time was aggregated on the highest level of aggregation. That would be year, right? And you could split time index into more details, right? So if you expand time, from year it goes to quarters, quarters into month, and month can be broken further down into the days, right? Guess what? I'm going to create very similar hierarchical structure, okay, myself right now. Here's what I'm going to do. All of my products that I'm selling, right, to the customers, they can be broadly categorized into three, well, literally categories. So I have technology, I have furniture, and I have office supplies, whatever that means, office supplies, okay? Now, each category can probably be split further into the subcategory. For example, what do we mean by furniture? Well, tables are furniture, chairs are furniture, bookshelves are furniture, right? So we can probably split each category further down, okay? And each of these subcategories can be further split down into the specific products, right? For example, let's say, I don't know, technology, one of the subcategories is phones, okay? And phones, there is Panasonic, there is Samsung, there is, and specific models, right? So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create artificially myself a new hierarchical structure. So category is going to be the top level of this hierarchy, just like year is the top level item as far as time is concerned, date, right? Then I'm going to pick up subcategory, it's closer to the bottom of my dimensions. I'm going to drag it and drop it on the top of the category, okay? Right in the same left pane, on the left side of Tableau, where the dimensions are listed, okay? And when I do that, it'll tell me, okay, I'm about to create hierarchy, okay? How do you want it to be called? So I'm going to name this hierarchy products. How about that? Products. Bam. And note what happened. Now products is listed as my new dimension, right? And it's expanded right now. Under the product category hierarchy name, right? I have the first level, the top level is category name by itself. Then under the category name, I have subcategory. And note that also category and subcategory were kind of removed from the list of independent dimensions, right? And now they're part of the structure, okay? And under subcategory, I'm going to include the individual product name. Do I have the product name? Let's see, yeah, product name, right? I'm going to just drag it and drop it right under the subcategory. Bam. Okay, so I just created a 3-level hierarchy. Okay, and now what I can do is look at the field that says category, which is located in the on the row on the shelf which says rows, right? So you see on the left side of the field there is this plus sign in the small square, right? We had the same thing with timeline, right? We can expand it further and further. So that's what I'm going to do. If I want to look at the breakdown of the sales and profits by subcategory, then I expand it, and it shows each category is split into the subcategories, right? So for example, furniture has chairs, bookcases, tables, and furnishings, whatever they are. I have no idea what that is. Okay? And then if I want to look at my breakdown of sales and profits on the item level, I can break down it even further, right? Subcategory, click on the plus sign, it'll show you individual items, right? So I can see that, for example, right now I'm looking at technology phones, right? This model, Casio smartphone full size, pretty decently selling and has good profit, right? This one, on the other hand, Motorola smartphone cordless, it has, well, fairly decent sales, right? But I'm losing money on that one, okay? So I can see where exactly my losses are coming from, specifically, okay? From what individual item. Make sense? Any questions? It should be fairly easy, right? But I don't want to look at, for example, if I don't want to look at individual items, then I can go ahead and collapse down to the level of subcategories, and look what happens. Now I can see where my problems are coming from, most of them anyway, right? If I look at technology, phones and copiers are doing great, right? Dark blue, tall bars, so sales and profits are good. Accessories, well, profit is decent, right? But sales are lowest. And machines, I guess, is okay. I mean, whatever that means, right? Office supplies, nothing special, right? They're kind of pale colors, so that means that profits aren't that high. And sales probably aren't that high as well, right? Look at the furniture, right? Chairs and bookcases are doing almost identically, similarly, right? Furnishings, I'm still making profits, but tables, sales are fairly decent, but I'm losing money on tables, right? So that is probably where I have to concentrate my efforts, right? So that I can use that type of analysis to investigate the areas of the weakness and pay attention to the ones that give me the most of the headache. Is that cool or what? Okay. So let's rename this worksheet. Let's call it, I don't know, sales and profits by subcategory. How about that? Sales and profits by subcategory. Okay. Let me show you one more chart, which is easy to do. I mean, Tableau is so powerful. We will have a separate course on the Tableau. I'm not going to go. What was the point of making that hierarchy? So that I could drill down. This is called drill down capability. Okay. Yeah. Without this, without adding categories and subcategories. Yeah, exactly. So now, like, suppose I'm CEO of the company, right? And I get this type of report. Okay, so I expand it to the level of subcategory, and I see that tables are my problem, right? Okay, what specific tables, right? So I can go ahead and expand that down to the item level, so I can start at high level of aggregation, and if I need more details on certain specific area that I want to focus on, then I can expand it, getting more and more and more details. Okay, executive information systems used by C-suite officers in the company, CEO, CFO, CIO. They typically have that type of capability. It's called drill down capability. It starts at high level of aggregation without any details, and if they want to zoom in, they can certainly do that. Okay. So let's do one more chart type, and that would be scatterplot. Okay. So let's add another worksheet. Create a blank worksheet. And scatterplot, as we discussed about a week ago, is a bivariate plot, right? It shows you distribution of two numerical variables. X, horizontal axis, is your variable number 1. Y, vertical axis, is your variable number 2. Okay? So when I'm talking about numerical variables, I have to look at measures, right? Remember what's the difference between measures and dimensions? Measures is what we summarize: sales, profits, costs, and the dimensions is how we slice numerical summaries, measures, right? We can slice it by country, by market, by the product category, by order date, etc., etc. Okay, so I'm going to select both profits and sales. Remember how to do it, right? Simultaneously select two things. Control, right? Profit and sales. Okay, and let me go to the one punch option, right? One button click options. Bam. So Tableau tells me by highlighting this chart that probably the best thing to do with with this data that you've selected, two numerical measures, right, is do the scatterplot. So if I pick the scatterplot, this is the scatterplot that I'm getting. Okay. So vertical I have profits, horizontally I have sales. Okay. And there is only one point. Not much of a scatter chart, right? Why do you think it's one point only? Because it aggregates, right? It says here's the total sales and here are the total profits, and that's just 1 point, my friend. Okay. If I want to break it down further, here's what I can do. Let's say I want to break it down by the category. Okay. Let me show you a couple of ways how I can do that. I mean, no matter how I do it, it's just going to be three dots, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take category and let's say drop it on the top of this one right here, okay? Shape. Bam. So it recognizes that there are three categories, okay? Furniture, office supplies, and technology. And for each one of them, it does exactly the same thing, right? It adds together total sales, total profits, and each category is just 1 point, right, for aggregated sales and profits, okay? So now it becomes to look like scatterplot, right? Multiple points which represent different things, okay? So 3 symbols. All right, so let me go ahead and do it differently. So I'm going to remove that. Now let me go ahead and again represent 3 categories, but now instead of different shapes for the markers, I'm going to use color. So then it keeps everything as a dot, as a bubble, right? And 3 different categories are represented with different colors. Okay, I can edit colors. For example, if I don't like these 2 colors, this is clearly blue, right? But this one is kind of dark orange or red, and this is light orange. I don't know, maybe it's too close, right? So I can go ahead and go to the colors, edit colors, and for office supplies, for example, I'm going to pick green. Apply, click OK, and there you go. So you can edit colors, okay? I can add more details. For example, if I want every category to be split into different subcategories, okay? Then, you know what? Before we do that, let me actually not only differentiate them by the color, but also by the shape, okay? So I'm going to have different shapes colored differently, just to make sure that I can distinguish between them. I'll go ahead and do the same thing. I'll take category and drop it on the shape again, okay? So now, not only I have 3 different colors, but also 3 different shapes. There is a cross, there is a rectangle, and there is a circle, right? And now, different categories are colored differently and shaped differently. Now, if I want to split it even further, then I can go ahead and, for example, add subcategories. So each category is broken down further into multiple subcategories, right? So I can go ahead and pick up subcategory from my hierarchy and drop it on the top of this card right here that says details. Then what it does basically is, instead of aggregating every category, total sales, total profit, it will create a bunch of points for each category for me, right? So for example, let's say that I want to look at different subcategories different. Okay? So in other words, I want to filter them out one at a time. So right now it's all 3 categories with a bunch of subcategories all splashed around, right? It's just a bunch of stuff. So here's what I can do. I can go ahead and add, let's see, where is my, category, right click, okay, and I do show filter. So I'm just going to add filter so that I can show them one category at a time. How about that? I'm going to show filter, and filter shows up in 2 places actually. Right here where I can edit the filter, do whatever I want with it, and right here as if, it would be what the user will see, okay? And remember what we did, I believe, in the previous class. There are several different ways how you can show your filter, right? This one is multiple choice option, so to speak, right? I can select one category at a time, or 2 categories, but I have to kind of click and unclick them, right? Instead of that, here's what I'm going to do. Just like what we did in the previous class, go to the upper right corner, right, and click on this triangle, which will show you a bunch of, it's called contextual menu. Menu depends on where you click, okay? And you see the first one, single value list. So you can select one category at a time. How did I call it last class, remember? Radio button, right? Because only one of them can be selected at a time. Select something else is getting deselected, right? So I'm going to do the single value list. And now I can go ahead and look at the furniture, 3 categories, look at the office supplies, okay, bunch of categories, right? And look at technology, or look at all of them simultaneously. All right. Now, anything strikes you. Let me kind of iterate through them one by one. So here is the furniture. Now, true or false? What I expect normally is, as the sales go up for the for different products, their profits also are going to increase, right? So I expect the points to be aligned kind of in a linear fashion, right? They should follow more or less the same straight line. So let's take a look at, for example, office supplies. True or false? They more or less form straight line. Yeah, true, right? So it starts at 0, and then sales increase, profits increase, right? Now, not every category is the same, right? Some are lagging, some are ahead, but yeah, more or less I see the straight line. Technology. Yeah, same thing, right? You can kind of imagine straight line going through that. Some are more profitable, some are less profitable. But let's take a look at furniture. Anything strikes you as odd? Which one? This one right here, right? Remember, on the previous bar chart, we kind of saw the same thing, right? In the furniture tables, they have fairly decent sales, but they're losing money, right? Do we see the same thing on the scatterplot? Yes, we do, right? So this one, the furniture, tables, right? Tables. It has sales kind of in the middle. They're fairly decent, but we're losing money, right? So if you eliminate tables from the consideration, then you see pretty much same thing, straight line, right? Sales go up, profits go up. Furniture doesn't look like the rest of the categories, right? Subcategories. Okay, so that's what I can see it on the common chart as well when everything is shown, right? I can see that pretty much profits and sales are aligned with linear relationship as it should be, and the furniture is an how do we call points that don't look like the rest of the bunch? Outliers, right? Furniture is, for some reason, whatever it is, right? Why can I have decent sales but low or even negative profit? Probably I need to do a little bit more digging into the subject matter, right? Maybe I should look into the costs, right? Because, every time when I sell something, it comes with a cost, right? inventory holding cost or shipping cost and distribution cost or something, right? So maybe I should get information or data, rather data, on the cost and start looking at why furniture behaves so, why tables behave so differently from the rest of the categories. I need to look at the cost structure, right? Okay, so I'm going to rename that chart as simply as scatterplot. Scatterplot. Oh, you know what? Let's actually go back. I forgot to show you one cute thing on the previous chart. Here, okay? So go to the previous chart where we had sales and profits sliced by subcategory, right? Look at the office supplies. At the end I have labels, fasteners, envelopes, paper, and then something that's called supplies. I don't even know what it is. These are small items, right? Typically people buy a lot of them and they're cheap, okay? Can I go ahead and group them together so that I don't have to have, every single subcategory mentioned? I certainly can. Here's how I can do it, okay? So let's say, for example, I want to take paper, envelopes, fasteners, and labels and group them together, okay? So here's what I do. I click on paper, select that, and then you can hold down Control and select them one by one, right? Or you can hold down Shift and select the last one. Didn't work well. Okay, yeah, I can hold down Shift and click on the last one. It will select the group of subcategories for me, okay? And I'll do the same thing as what we did in the previous class. Remember how we created the southern versus northern hemisphere? We selected the group and then we clipped them together, right? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to position the mouse over anywhere in this selection and it will pop up the contextual menu for me, okay? And there is a paperclip symbol right there which says group members. So I'm going to click on that and it will basically bunch them up together. Okay? So now I don't have these paper, labels, envelopes. It's all together in one bar. Okay? And if I don't like what it says, right now it says envelopes, comma, fasteners, right? I can rename it. Here is how. I'm going to right click on this newly created group, okay? And closer to the end you will see option that says edit alias. Alias basically is a name, right? Label. Edit alias. How about I'm going to call it small office supplies. Click OK, and there it is. And it seems that this operation kind of scrambled my my bars, right? Now they're what do you think is the distribution? What's the order of bars? How they're ordered? Alphabetical, right? They're ordered alphabetically. If I want to order them from highest to lowest, then there it is, okay? And that's it, pretty much. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Any questions about what we did? Let me show you one more thing that we're going to look at this semester in relation with Tableau. Hopefully you'll find Tableau very easy to use and learn, right? There's almost no learning curve, right? That's the magic behind this tool. That's why it's probably the leading market visualization tool that's out there, okay? But here is something even more powerful, okay? I can put simultaneously together on the same canvas several different charts that tell me different sides of the story. So, for example, and that's called dashboard. Okay, so dashboard is essentially a collection of key charts that you want to put together to support the story or to support investigation, sort of, right? So it's kind of tool that CEO would use again, right? If I want to look at, for example, how my sales and profits are distributed globally in different countries, and also by the product category and by the subcategory, and also how the trends look like, I can put all of this together on the same chart so that you don't have to switch back and forth between the different charts, right? That's called dashboard. So the second button at the top, not the one that we always use, create new worksheet, but next to it, new dashboard. So go ahead and create new dashboard. Okay. And one thing, so let's call it right now, I don't know, global sales dashboard, right? Global sales dashboard, just like that. Okay, so right now, it's the size of my dashboard is set as the desktop browser, 1000 pixels by, what's that, 800. You have the same thing probably, right? So it's customized to be nicely viewable in the regular browser. I can change it. For example, if so, there are options. Go ahead and click on sizing, right? And there are a bunch of options. You can customize it to be full screen, or to be viewable on the mobile device, such as iPad or cell phone. Okay, so there are all kinds of options, and if you pick a different option, it will look different, right? So if I pick this option, there you go. All right, but I'm going to go back. Desktop browser. All right, creating dashboard is very simple. So if I go back, so from the selecting side, go back to the main view. Right? On the left side, it says worksheets. That's everything that I created. All the not simulations, all the visualizations are built in right there. Right? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and they're all listed here. Okay, I can scroll through them, and it will show me briefly what that looks like. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to go ahead and put the map, and placing the map in the dashboard or any other chart is just dragging and dropping. So bam. Okay, so here's my map. But I want to add more charts. So, for example, I'm going to take the second one, where it shows seasonality, the line chart, right? Shows me sales, how they progress by the year, and also by the month, right? And look at that. As I drag the chart into the dashboard area, I can have different options, right? I can put it on the top of the map, and put it on the right or on the left of the map, or below. Okay, so I'm going to put it below the map, like that. Okay. Whoa, wrong chart, right? Okay, so this one, line chart. All right, and let me go ahead and add one more. So this one, sales and profits by subcategory. Okay, and as I drag it, you can, again, it offers you like different drop zones, right? So let me go ahead and drop it. Also under the map, but kind of next door to my line chart, just like that. Okay. Yeah, this one seems that I need scrolling, right? Because my bars probably are too wide. So if I wanted to show in one piece without any scrolling, I have to make them a little bit less wide, right? So yeah, like that. Okay, cool. So now I can go ahead and select different things, right, on different charts. But you can see that, for example, here, if I select California in the United States, nothing really happens, right? I just selected California in one of the charts. That's it, okay? So here, for example, if I select tables, right, nothing really happens, right? No updates. Okay? So other charts don't notice anything that's going on, okay? What I want to do is I want to hook them up together, all these charts, so that you can pretty much progressively filter out more and more data as you click through these different charts. So here's what I mean, okay? Like this one, for example, category, okay? So right now, as I select different categories, all it does is it updates the map because it came with a map, right? This filter came with a map, okay? I want this filter to apply to all charts. In other words, if I select furniture here or technology, then my map updates and the rest of the charts also update. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go to so I select this filter, category, okay, and note that again, in the upper right corner, there is like this gray bar with several options, right? One of them is this triangle pointing down. So go ahead and select triangle pointing down. And second option from the top says apply to worksheets, right? I'm going to pick apply to all using this data source. Kaboom. Right? Now let's see what happens. Now, if I select furniture, do you see how everything is updated? Or if I update technology, so my map is updated, well, because it was maps filter to begin with, and obviously it shows only this selected category, right, in the bar chart, and also sales seasonality line chart also responds, right? I select technology, the graphs change, right? So now this category filter actually applies to the entire dashboard, right? Moreover, for example, let's say I selected furniture, okay, right here. Now I want to see, for example, how specifically furniture sales look in California, okay? Can I do that? So that if I select California, then the charts update themselves again. So I'm going to have map itself to act as a filter, okay? It's actually very easy. So go ahead and select the map, and again in the top right corner you see this gray bar with a bunch of options, right? And the second one from the bottom says use as a filter. Do you see that? It's kind of an image of the funnel, right? But now it's hollow, right? Because nothing inside. So if I go ahead and select, it becomes white, right? It becomes like filled with white, okay? So now hopefully, with God's help, that's going to act as a filter. So let's see. If I select California, you see how everything else is updated? Or if I select any other state, what was our highest next one? I believe it was New York, right? If I select New York, you can see that both of your other charts are being updated, right? So now I have two filters, right? I have the category filter, plus I can select a location, right? And now I'm going to do the same thing with this one, for example, sales and profits by subcategory, right? If you select that one, I'm going to make that also a filter, okay? So again, I'm going to click on the funnel icon right here so that it becomes white. And now, this is my third filter essentially in the dashboard. So, for example, if I want to look at how technology is selling in, let's say, oh crap, how do I pan around? I have to select this panning tool, right? Okay, let's see London, because London seems to be doing great in technology, right? So I'm going to click on London. It will filter out the London portion, right? And I can see that there are phones, copiers, machines, and accessories, right? Whatever that means. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the copiers, and the last line chart is also updated. So now I'm looking at technology in London, and more specifically copiers, right? How the sales look like versus time. By the way, the chart itself, it doesn't look too pretty, right? Why do you think it doesn't look like a line, but more like a bunch of lines which are kind of disconnected? What do you think? What's happening? That means that this specific item, copiers in London, they weren't selling in each month of each year, right? There were months in some years where the sales were zero. That's where you don't have any data, basically, right? And that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you about Tableau, ladies and gentlemen. Any questions, concerns, complaints, sarcastic comments? Should be fairly easy to use, right? Okay, so that concludes our portion of this course dedicated to Tableau and visualization. And starting from the next class, we're going to discuss less pretty tool, R and R Studio, but you will see that with R and R Studio you can do actually things that cannot be done with Tableau. Okay? Tableau is just visualization tool, that's it. Cannot do any kind of modeling that we're going to discuss later this semester. Okay, so I'm going to stop this recording right here, and next class we're going to start learning R and R Studio. Okay?